difficult. You just need to use a regular bottle opener. You don't need the fancy.
I paid enough for this motherfucker. God, okay, there, got it. There.
Wine opener should not make you swear.
Dude, if I paid 150 fucking bucks, wait a minute, are we on?
No.
I did think we're on.
Yes, we are on.
Hey, hello. Hi.
What a nice bottle
opener.
Everyone.
Yes, this is called the Wine Rabbit. It's well worth every penny that I spent for it. It's Hi, Alkali. How are you?
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, both and neither, welcome to A Comedy Better When I've Had a Few. Introducing my co-host for the evening, Uncle Kage.
Hi.
And his wine. We will be joined by Boozy in a few moments. Hopefully another guest or two. We'll see what happens. But my name is Alkali. This is Uncle Kage. Welcome to an hour of silliness.
Yeah, and remember, this is an endeavor for charity. And when I looked at the name of the charity, this is the most amazing furry charity. It's called the Human Animal Welfare Society. So,
okay, that's a little bit of a misnomer. They only go by that on the weekends. They are the Hawes Society, the Humane. And you know what? Yeah. Sure. Yes, if that gets more donations, Humans, Animals, Society, and Association. 4 words. We got it.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Human animal, isn't that? That's the HA part.
I mean, that's just what we're going for. That they can't just. We can't just supply money to those who are working on making human-animal hybrids. That's too much money in a very niche piece of science.
I'm gonna spare folks waiting until tomorrow and the Con Horror Stories panel. What you guys did not see was in the 19 minutes leading up to my story hour, we couldn't get the video and the sound to work, and we were going absolutely apeshit trying to figure out how to get the son of a bitch working. It literally started working 30 seconds before I went live. So I was a little... Right now, we are still trying to get Boozy Badger online. He's apparently got some kind of technical, logical...
It's
astronomical.
No, not astronomical. There's nothing to do with the stars. How do you use a computer?
Dude, there's a box. There's a box over there. You push the buttons, lights show up on the box, and your face shows up on my screen. If that ain't a curse from hell, I don't know what is.
Okay, I can follow your logic. At least we're at that point. I can follow your logic. Silence is asking, did the Coyote Child steal the internet again?
Probably.
Now, Sam, have you ever been around when a child stole the internet?
I have fond memories of getting ready to begin a wine stream. And you know, Alkali, that my wine stream is rigidly timed. It begins at precisely 4:51 p.m. because the intro is exactly 9 minutes long, so it's good. We were just about to begin, and I'm all ready, and Boozy got this look of horror, and he said, "Why did the baby just run by with the internet router in his hand?"
That's why you nail those things down.
Exactly. The internet router needs to be nailed down too.
Should
I get my top hat too?
You must have been an outstanding babysitter.
They didn't let me babysit. They let me babysit once, and that was the only time.
Did you show up with a bottle of wine?
Maybe.
That's a yes. That's a yes. You showed up with a
I cannot answer any more questions till my lawyer arrives.
I'm sure he'll be here in a second. Just making sure you've never used the line, bottle for you, bottle for me. That's not something that we have to deal with, right?
What?
Oh, it's just always good to see you playing with your rabbit. Cheers, my friend. So, how have you been, Sam, as I pour myself significantly more tequila?
Well,
somebody, go ahead.
I've been enduring this. All of us are suffering because of the pandemic. We are doing what we can. I am ever so grateful to have this opportunity to. Okay, let me put all my cards on the table and be perfectly frank. Alkali, it is the greatest joy of my life right now to be able to share this moment with you without having to smell the tequila on your breath.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. And really quick to Tech, Pandez is in the chat. If you guys could please send him the link that you guys, or however it works, to get him into the fourth position.
Yep.
Now, I remember. Go ahead, please.
Well, go on. No, you go on. Go on. I'm drinking. You go on.
There was an incident that Sam is referring to. Sorry, that Uncle Kage is referring to right now.
They know who I am. It's all right.
At Anthrocon years ago, there was a small incident. Sometimes myself in the position, myself, Uncle Kage, Boozy, we get ourselves into positions where we're very used to jumping up onto stage and taking care of what needs to happen. A little bit of improv isn't going to scare any of us. You go out there, you do it, you get off the stage, and you're done. That's not something that everyone has, and in this particular instance, we called some people from the audience to be on stage for Anthrocon tonight. Again, Sam, thank you so much for inviting me to help run one of my favorites events of the year. Always fun for Anthrocon tonight at Anthrocon. Giving furries the chance to be on that gigantic stage is terrifying beyond all reason.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, it happened in this instance that terrified beyond all reason happened to one of the attendees, a young man who had been at my improv panel earlier and wanted yet another chance to get up on stage, and we were thrilled to give it to him. And we bring him up there, and it happened. It hit him. The overwhelming moment, and it wasn't anything by his fault. There was a lot of information being thrown at him. He became overwhelmed, and he did the most logical thing. You get out of harm's way, you leave. And this young man left the stage. Now, I was emceeing at the time. Uncle Kage was in the front row of the audience, and both of us rushed backstage. This is a furry in need. He needs to be told everything's fine. The audience moved on, and thank you again to every furry out there. The audience didn't respond to it. There was no laughter, and that is why furry is the greatest audience on the face of the planet. If you ever see myself or this gentleman over here at a convention, know that we will probably be running open mic in front of the furry fandom. Guys, that's where, if you've ever wanted to do stand-up, go to open mic at a furry con. Best audience you can have.
Yep.
Well, we went backstage.
That incident, before you do that incident, our guest of honor that year noticed our reaction and was incredibly impressed by our fandom for that.
I'm glad, but I think anyone in this position would have done the same thing. We went backstage. This young man is mortified, as I would be, but it's understandable. And myself and Kage tried to console him. And having met him before, I put my arm around him and told him that it's okay about the audience. Basically what I just told you. And in a small voice, he whispered just loud enough for the two of us to hear, I appreciate what you're doing, but you smell like a distillery. Could you take one step back?
I have no audio. I can't hear a word you're saying. I'm still working on it.
We hear you. We hear you okay.
Damn it.
Yes, we hear
We're
you
so close.
okay.
Oh, wait a second. How'd I suddenly get you two?
Dude, you hit mute.
No, we hear you okay.
You two now, jackass. I hear you two now.
Oh, well, then what's the problem? What are you bitching about?
Tech just put a giant banner at the top of my screen that says Tech is magic. Thank you, Tech.
Did they have me muted? Did I just go through that whole restart procedure because those assholes had me muted?
No, don't tell him, Dan. Don't tell him. We, as you understand, my dear lawyer friend, we really cannot get into that in a public forum. On
Oh no, I think you
advice.
can.
On
I am
advice
so
of
angry.
counsel.
I'm shutting off all of the random shit that starts when my computer starts now because you assholes.
That's like a monthly thing in our house. Every computer we just go to and figure out exactly what's opening when we turn on the computer and stop it.
Oh. I am so angry at both of you, and I don't know why. It's not your fault that I suck. Like, maybe it's your fault that I suck.
But it is our
Tech,
fault.
do I need to change? I am off. I'm just gonna say it right now because I'm watching this. I am off by like that much at the bottom of the framing, and it's really irritating the fuck out of me. Just really irritating the fuck out of me.
He is. He's like. Do you see that? Do you see that? He's like at the top. You're.
I mean, well, I've always been above you, Kage, but.
I kind of like it that way. Whoa, wait a minute. It's fixed. Yeah, it's fixed.
You know
Nailed
what?
This is everything is going according to plan.
I'll just open my mouth and Kage's words will come out as it's supposed to be.
Tech, giving people what they want. All boozy all the time.
Okay, he's back to the shifting.
I was just sitting there. I was having a lovely time before, like, you're like, oh, yeah, you have a stream in like 10 minutes, Boozy. I was having a lovely time sitting in my basement playing my stringed instruments and humming to myself. And then I look at the screen, and there are these two assholes frantically in the corner.
That sounds about right.
Is that a kazoo you're sucking on?
No, it is a vape. I am attempting to quit the cigarettes.
You know what? If they could make a vape that was a kazoo at the same time, guys, okay, are you thinking what I'm thinking? We could market that
right?
vape kazoo.
To the hippopotamus.
Yeah, that's a dangerous question for God. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? I like maybe. How has your day gone in general? Before I answer that.
Incidentally, a little note for folks. We are, of course, making reference to the famous Pinky and the Brain sidebars. Rob Paulson, the voice of Pinky, was guest of honor at Anthrocon, and he told me all of the little sidebars that Pinky has with Brain are ad-libbed.
Oh.
That does not surprise me.
Yep. They're not scripted. The script basically says, Brain says, are you pondering what I'm pondering? Rob fills in.
So, like, basically like this panel, we're doing it live.
We're doing it live.
Exactly.
One of my all-time favorite, just put them in there and see what happens. If anyone's seen the movie Airplane, has anyone seen the movie, the classic goofball comedy?
Surely you have.
Sure, I am. And stop calling me Shirley.
There you go.
The Johnny character, not all of them, not every line, but apparently the script has blanks where it just has his name. And that was part of the script in its original form. They had to ask the gentleman who submitted, like, oh, you missed something. He was like, no, I didn't. It'll be fine. And the one that I'm not sure of, but I believe the Rapunzel jump was ad-lib, and the camera almost misses it. You can actually see, if you watch really closely, the camera seems a little bit off on its boxing. That's because they kind of had to move over to him to catch him at the beginning when he first starts the jump.
If you don't know what we're talking about, watch the movie Airplane.
If you don't know what we're talking about, grow some hair down below and leave until you're old enough to be in this panel.
You do have a point. All these goddamn kids.
scared of tech support as I am. Tech what? What?
Yeah, tech support leaves us little messages, and this one's the best message I've ever seen. We have a surprise for Alkali.
Oh, we did. Oh, no. Oh. That is the cutest damn thing I have ever seen. If you were not on earlier, Kage, the half-hour impromptu panel got the charity total over $5,000, and the goal was if we got over 5,000, I would have to be a cat.
Yes,
so now,
I saw that.
Well, time to bend over and show everybody your asshole then.
That is not, you just don't do that. You have to buy.
You're a cat.
Okay, it is official. It is official. Alkali is now this convention's pussy.
It was official from its inception.
Yeah. By the way, I'm enjoying tech fucking with me because I'm watching my panel and I notice they keep moving it up a little and down a little and up a little and down a little.
Oh, I believe both of you have definitely seen it. You remember the Draggett rendition of the zombie movie, Night of the Living Dead?
Yeah, of course, that was a classic.
Of course, yeah.
So the original
movie, not your edition of it. Your edition of it was horrible.
Amazing. Just shit all over. It was fun. The original that we did was Dinner with Andre, and Boozy was with us on the first time that we aired Dinner with Andre on April Fools of, what was it, Boozy, 2017?
Yes, it was 2018.
So we announced to everyone, the Draggett Show would like to have dinner with you. We're going to do a stream, Dinner with the Draggett Show on the April Fools. And Boozy immediately, the first response, like, these assholes are going to just show Dinner with Andre. So that was the plan from the beginning. What they didn't know is that we had done the edits, just like we did for Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Well, one of the edits had nothing more than a tech problem caused it. Your floating window. At one point during the movie, myself and Xander just started floating away. What we didn't know was we were so cramped in doing the editing process and recording process, his leg was pressed against the keyboard, and he was by 0.001 adjusting the y-axis of our avatars. So they started slowly floating away. We had to stop filming, and it's where one of the ideas we came up with the avatars getting high and just kind of floating off screen.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
wonderful.
for drawing.
By the way, I mentioned in my story hour that I've been dabbling with VR chat. Do you know what I think one of my most exquisitely favorite memories of VR chat that I will carry with me to my grave will be?
What's that?
Is with my avatar walking up behind this giant mushroom that talked very much like Boozy. And when he didn't know I was there, what was it I said? Something like, hello, dear. And he heard my voice say that.
And by the way, nothing's more terrifying than hearing Kage, who you know is several states away, sound like he's right behind you. I'm watching you. Oh. Like, somebody told me I should get a custom VR avatar, and my response now is, well, can it be a mushroom with a dick? Because I'm used to the mushroom now.
Yep.
Only the head.
Just the tip.
Just the tip.
My next thing that I would like to do is I would like to crash one of Boozy's streams. But I'm not going to tell him which one. I'm just going to randomly show up. I'm going to walk in through that door behind him when he doesn't expect it. Now, it's going to be some time. Yeah.
You understand the only thing I'm going to see is the door open and a hairless head walk through, and I'm going to assume you're my child, right? Like, you're going to walk in, and I'm going to be like, oh, thank you. What did you bring, Daddy?
There is a certain family resemblance, wouldn't you say?
Oh, God. If you're the father of my child, don't tell me.
There was a tweet recently that I saw most of us respond to, and it was simply, without loading any new image, please post a picture of your evil fursona. And one of the first responses was Uncle Kage, literally just posting any random picture from his phone, because when you do this, you are the epitome. That's mad scientist.
Angry
now
scientist.
I'm just a cat.
Oh,
This is an improvement on me. I like it.
oh, yeah. You know what? I've got to say, the cat's growing on me.
Warts do that too.
Yeah.
Now, Boozy, this isn't the first cat that grew on you. Didn't you get a hooker?
Oh my God! Don't talk to me about the stink cat.
No. This is the hooker, not the stink cat.
Oh no, we have another cat now as well, and he's a little asshole. And the other day, the toddler came running up the stairs after one of the cats, and he was yelling, "Come back, kitty, come back. You have to be the bad guy in our game." And I looked up from where I was sitting in our bedroom, and I said, "Which cat are you chasing?" And he looks at me and he goes, "The scratch cat." And I went, "Oh, bot, okay." Like we know just by because Sheba, who is my one-eyed snaggletooth hooker, Sheba is not the scratch cat. Sheba is the stinky. Yeah, by the way, I've figured out the way to describe her meow. Her meow sounds like sandpaper would sound if sandpaper could fart. That's how you want to wake up every morning, by the way. Like that fucking cat sitting on your chest.
And I slept with that cat.
Everybody slept with my cat. Now, Alkali slept with my cat.
She's a hooker, of course.
Like, by the way, funniest thing I've ever seen in the world was Alkali stayed at my house, laying on the air mattress. We come downstairs in the morning. There he is, the gentle giant on the air mattress. The cat's laying on top of his head, and the dog is across his chest. He is wide awake, just staring at the ceiling. We make eye contact, and he goes, "Help me." And then I stepped over him and got coffee.
Yeah, but when you stepped over me, you couldn't clear the whole mattress. So you stepping on a quarter of an air mattress with the dog on the other just kind of pops the dog, cuddles it closer to me. I was warm at least. I mean, that was true.
Oh.
It's wonderful having friends like this, and tech support is reminding me how good of friends because Kage, I don't know if you can see what they're doing too, but they are getting revenge for you on me. The latest message from tech is, "You know what you did," and they've put our panel timer at 12 hours and 55 minutes.
Oh, fuck you.
What? What did I miss? What?
I'm not sure what I missed, but what I do remember
is I did not sign up for 13 hours of this shit.
We don't sign up for anything. You were voluntold.
Yeah, like it.
That's how.
By the way, I love the fact that everybody on tech sent me messages at once. I'm like, "You're on the panel, right? Did somebody not tell you you're on the panel? When are you going to log into the panel?" And I'm just kind of sitting here fucking around on my instrument, like, "You guys send me a link." Everybody lost their shit. I wasn't in the panel room on time. Oh my God. It's a fucking furry con. 9 times out of 10, Alkali's wandering into the room just buttoning his pants up 10 minutes after the start.
One time.
That's all it takes.
We do
sets precedent, Alkali.
God damn it. We do mess with each other. We have our fun. And I got to have my fun recently when the wonderful Uncle Kage invited me onto his show and then changed the camera to do his drawing segment, but left the earpiece in. Kage, would you like to tell your side of that story?
I don't remember.
Oh, good. You blocked it out. So what tech support is doing now is because we
You
had
don't
talked to them
remember either,
earlier.
do you?
No, I remember.
Sure?
Oh, I don't remember. I understand now.
So there they were. Alkali's dick on the drawing cam. You just let me know when my story's worse than your story, and I'll stop.
It's worse. You can stop now.
Are you just
this
playing
portion of
high-low with story time?
This portion of whatever we're doing here is brought to us by Rheinhessen, Nier Storner, Spiegel, Master, Spiesling, Racele, Kabinetterbager. Now that we've changed the subject to something entirely different, let's move on, shall we?
As we move on to a new topic, I would like to make the current charity total. We are at $53.69. Thank you so much. And for those just joining us, our charity this year is once again.
That's not good. Look, if we got $1,300, or what was $1,600, it would be at $69.69.
Yes, it would.
There's a lot of people watching.
And remember, this is to benefit the Western Pennsylvania. No, what the
Hawes. The charity is Hawes.
Yes, that's it. Hawes. The Human Animal Welfare Society. That's the one.
So
yeah, sure. We'll go with that. I don't even know if that's right. Is that right? I never bothered to learn the name of the charity. I just learned their acronym. Come on, don't you want to see Alkali hand them a check and go, "We raised the sex number for you"?
That's what they say to me when I hand it. They're like, "Oh, you raised the sex number for us." I will say this.
Okay, you just maybe have a flashback, guys.
Oh, good. There's the chairman fingers. We've got it. We've done it.
Move on, shall we?
You know, we're already talking behind the scenes. Let's reveal something so everyone can see the total, $53.69. This is a common chat that people who run conventions, namely my convention, have to have. The 69 joke. Is it worth it? We've actually had hour-long conversations of, I don't think people are donating small amounts because they don't want the number to get off of 69. But then people splash in $100 donations. And to this day, we really want to get a mathematician. We need Iggy to come in here and crunch the numbers and figure out, is it better to keep the joke going so that we get sporadic $100 increments, or kill the joke so that people can donate $1 and get it off that stupid fucking number?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I prefer the 69 joke over the 68 joke because that just misses the mark and is a little shitty.
Excuse me.
How many times can we get Kage to turn off his camera?
Oh, we lost Boozy. Holy fuck. Where'd he go?
Tech didn't like the joke.
Where'd he go?
I know what's happening. I see what's going on. Give it a minute. Tech, when you are ready, feel free. Oh my God, good to have you back.
I just love the idea that the tech team was like, "No, fuck this," and took me off. Like, we're gonna mute the lawyer. We've heard enough of this.
By the way, I want to point out that you notice the wall behind our lawyer friend here. What's it? Who is that? Is that Lord Pandez?
Hello.
Lord Pandez.
Hello.
Officially Lord Pandez now.
Yes, Lord.
Yep.
I'm sorry, other way. Lord.
Well, Pandez, I was just pointing out that Boozy painted that wall behind him green because my understanding was he wanted to be able to do green screen stuff. But then he put those shelves up and put his liquor collection on it, which kind of defeated the purpose of having the green screen behind him.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you got it wrong. I didn't put the shelves up. The shelves were there. I was going to take them down. Then I noticed how much work it would be to actually work them out of the 100 years of paint the screws are encased in. I was like, well, fuck that. And I just put liquor on them and sat down. So, like, everybody else here has... Everybody else here, like, you've got a green screen. And...
The delay.
Go ahead.
Oh, my God. So sorry. I'm so sorry.
No,
all right.
It's okay.
Stop. Guys, you're out of control. Pandez, seize control and say something intellectual and save this stream.
Did you hear that Eminem was denied his second COVID shot? Because, you know, you only get one shot.
Back to Alkali and Boozy now.
So you were saying about my decorating skills.
You need green mason jars and just transfer all that alcohol into green mason jars and just label them like gin,
Pardon me.
tonic.
It works.
Whatever.
No, that is white trash, and I am very clearly Caucasian recyclable.
That was great. That was
I got
great.
nothing right.
Did you hear about the gentleman who went to submit to the pun competition? Submitted 10 different puns to the competition. 10 puns. But did even one of them win? No pun intended. Sharpie, no pun. I caught you, Sharpie. I saw it before you changed it.
I never thought I'd say this, but Alkali, could you please do drugs?
Yes. One moment.
And he never returned.
Yeah, he's gone. Alkali has disappeared into the nether. We will never see him again.
Okay, now that he's gone, let me tell you guys something. He's back. Alkali lives in a land where cannabis and its derivatives are legal for recreational use. Am I correct?
You are correct, sir.
Increasingly, an unnamed little old lady has been indicating that she wants to visit Alkali. We're just going to leave it at that.
Well, does North Carolina have medical usage approved?
Not yet. I mean, no, we do not. No.
You want to hear something funny? Oh, you want to hear something funny? Pennsylvania does.
Well, all right. A gathering will happen. A very foggy gathering. Thank you.
I want to state.
So does
I want to state right now, because a lot of people don't believe this. A lot of people do not believe this because I'm a child of the freaking 60s and 70s. I have never engaged in recreational drugs. This is my only recreational drugs. I have never in my life partaken of any of the recreational drugs.
That's right. Kage only uses drugs on a professional level. He's way past this minor league bullshit.
Absolutely. That's why I went into pharmaceuticals. It's called research when I take them.
I like that he said he went into pharmaceuticals instead of pharmaceuticals went into you.
Have you noticed my glass? Yeah.
Love the glass. Love it.
This was a gift from Electra
dispensing pharmaceuticals for 2 decades. I mean, not quite the same.
Well, that's right. That's right. Pandez is in the business too.
There is one upside to my job, though. I get to jab people with pointy objects.
Can I just, as an attorney, can I make a request? When we're discussing the legal dispensing of pharmaceuticals, can we not refer to it as the business with air quotes? That makes me nervous.
You guys, you know what is the singular greatest thing about having Boozy as a friend is when I'm doing a wine stream and I'm sitting here and I'm putting booze in my face and I'm drinking and I'm like noise and face and talking and things. And I see my phone buzz and it's from Boozy saying, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
I have sent that message. I have sent messages to Kage during his wine just read, oh, baby, know what you doing.
So on my screen, tech, I can't help but notice the banner that just showed up. So now, not only am I going to have to deal with a donation that ends in the number 69, I'm going to have to deal with, when they audit me, that a bunch of those donations came in with an increment of 60. Are you seeing why this is going to cause a problem? I'm asking as a friend.
If you donate $420 and Discord Scholar, not only will they put the message on the stream, we'll make Alkali read it out loud.
Just donate 1 Bitcoin.
Oh my God.
Given the current value of Bitcoin that... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead. I'm chewing scenery.
I was going to say, given the current value of Bitcoin, that completely changes the meaning between shave and a haircut, 2 bits.
2 bits. Yep.
Now that means a shave and a haircut's like $4,000.
You know what the hirsute woman asked for when she went into the barber?
What's that?
Wait. I want to be ready for this.
Go on. Shave and a haircut, both tits.
Thank you. Yeah.
God damn it.
There's a reason why Boozy No is a thing.
Yes, there is.
Although there is a barber nearby that I go to and I get a shave and a haircut. It is currently 220 bits. It is 220 bits for a shave and a haircut here in North Carolina.
Thank God. For a moment, I thought you were going to say that you go to your barber and get your boobs shaved. And I was just like, I love you. I just didn't need to know that.
Would you like to see? How much money could we raise for charity?
Oh.
How much money for charity to get chest hair shaved into shapes?
Kage, you'll understand this. Glad I grabbed this item.
I don't see. Oh, that item. Never mind. Okay.
Oh, I put it in front of me. Hold on.
Yep.
Now, you do what you want. I'm going to do what I want.
I love that the chat has brought out the fact that Boozy No started as a warning for me not to click on things and has now become an admonition for me to stop showing people things. Like, you all did not know. Like, I had somebody walk up there like, you really just went all in. Like, you dove right into the pool. I'm like, I didn't dive into the pool. I took a running jump and cannonballed into the shallow end, stood up with my broken teeth in my hand and said, look at this, ain't it cool?
Hey, Boozy, would you do us a kindness? There are people, I have noticed there are a lot of people that are going to a convention for the first time. This might be their furry experience. So, yes, some people have heard this story, but there are people out there who need to know when you ditched your handler at Anthrocon.
Oh! So the first time I went to Anthrocon, they gave me a handler. I was a respected attorney who had written something about the fandom, and somebody in a lab coat thought they should bring me in and show me the world's largest furry convention. So I show up there, and they have given me a wonderful young man. I forget his name. Fiend, as my handler, and I am told by the director of programming, who I would later find out is my cousin, by the way. I was told by the director of programming, yeah, it's like one big incestuous fur pile here, and that's the clip that goes on CNN the next time they need to describe the furry fandom. A respected, noted lawyer had to say, it's an incestuous fur pile, run. Anyways, I show up at the convention. They give me Fiend, who is a very nice young man, but very nervous. The director of programming lets me know this is the first time he's ever had to handle a guest like that, and they would be curious to know how he does. So I look at this poor young man, and I shook his hand and said, "It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm going to make your life a living hell for the next 3 days," and walked off. We go there. He follows me around the convention. I'm there with another attorney. We walk into the art show section, and there are 2 art show sections at Anthrocon. There is the pleasant, family-friendly art, very nice, very public, and then there is a large black curtain, and behind that black curtain are the naughty bits. And so there we are. And he is very obviously trying to keep us away from the black curtain that we see people going into and coming out of, and we're looking at the art and going, "Oh, yes, that is a very nice sentient neon green poodle. I like the way they have drawn them." And we look at him and we go, "Say, young man, what is behind the curtain?" And he goes, "I'm not supposed to tell you." So we're quiet for a moment. We go, "Oh, okay." At that point, a call comes over. His radio programming staff is together, yet we are very obviously not showing any willingness to leave the art show at any point in the near future. So we look at him. We go, "Look, how long is it going to take?" He says, "Oh, about 10 minutes. We go, Go to your meeting. We'll be good. Don't worry. We'll stay right here. We'll look at the pretty paintings." And he looked at us and he thought, these 2 gentlemen are lawyers. I can trust them. That was his first mistake. And off he went. And the moment he left, my friend Captain Eyebrows and I looked at each other and said, "Well, Dad's gone. Let's go look at the porn," and walked into the adult art section, where we said phrases such as, "Huh, I did not think they would be that limber, and so that's what a crocodile's dick looks like." We walked out to find this young man standing outside of the art section looking frantically around. He looked up, he saw us walking out of the adult section, and his face dropped. And he comes over and he goes, oh God, I'm going to get so much trouble." We're like, Don't worry. We're not going to tell anybody. Don't worry. We're big boys. We know what we're doing." And he feels just rather relieved. So that evening, I am for the first time in the green room at Anthrocon with Alkali and with Kage. And I turn to Kage and I say, "The funniest thing happened in the art show," which I just cannot reiterate. Yes, I promised Fiend that I would not tell anybody, but we had just established I told him I wouldn't go and look at the porn while he was gone. I'm not trustworthy. I tell Kage the story, expecting him to have a nice laugh, and instead what I see is a totally blank look come over his face, and I go, "Oh no, I fucked up. I got this young man in trouble." So that evening, I got invited to a room party, and my handler had looked at me and he said, "Look, can I trust you?" And I said, "Of course," because while he's such a good kid, he just wasn't catching on to the theme of the weekend that easily. So off I go to the room party with the Germans. Nobody warned me about the Germans. I am drinking with the Germans when I send a message out to the director of programming, and I say, "You're going to get a message in a moment. Please ignore it." I bring up the phone number my handler gave me to send messages to if anything had occurred, and I sent him a message that read, "This room party's a lot of fun." Then I sent another message, "Hey, what's a merpile?" And then I turned my phone off.
You, my good man, are a douche.
Yes, I am.
Now, I'm going to follow that story up because this is not the first time such things have happened. You gentlemen have heard this story before, but for those of you who may not, some people have seen a tiny little white-haired old lady making her way around Anthrocon in a mobility scooter. That is my little old mom, affectionately known as Grandma Kage. In 1999, the first year that Anthrocon was in Pennsylvania, I was walking past the art show and I saw that little white-haired old lady walking behind the black curtain that the lawyer just told you about. And I went charging after her. And I said, no, out now, out. And she said, no, I want to look at the art. Leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone. And I'm following behind her going, oh, don't, no, God, don't look at her. And she's going, oh, why do they call him Gideon? I don't know, Mom. I just, look, you really shouldn't be here. You really need to, can we please? And then she said, and I swear on my beloved late father's grave, I swear. She looked at the art and she said, why do they make the penises so small? Gents, I actually have a scheduling conflict. I need to be on my way. However, I'm going to leave this in your very, very capable hands. Remember, folks, this is a charity thing. We're trying to raise money for the human-animal
close enough.
If we raise 15
society of things. Yeah.
If we raise $1,050, Alkali has to hand them a check for the sex number twice.
You got it. So I'm going to be on my way. Thank you all very much. Guys, give money to these amazing comics. And this time I'm going to remember to turn the fucking microphone off before I go to the bathroom. Good night, guys.
Good night.
50 chance that he doesn't do that. Ladies and gentlemen, Uncle Kage. If you have not seen him before, you can find him on YouTube under the same name, Uncle Kage. He does monthly wine streams. He is the chairman of Anthrocon and an amazingly wonderful and generous person. The fandom would not be the place it is today without him.
I watch his wine streams, and you were right the first time. Wine screams is accurate.
I'm a kid.
I have a favorite Grandma Kage story. I think we all probably do. Mine was I went to go visit Kage for one of his wine streams, and he took us out to Duck Donuts, a wonderful donut place there. We went and picked up his sainted mother. And as we are driving to Duck Donuts, we get inside, and we're sitting there, and Grandma Kage and I are talking while Kage is grabbing donuts. And as he sits down, she looks at him and goes, Sam, I need to go to the liquor store. And he's quiet, and he goes, why? And she goes, I'm out of 151. And he goes, what? And she goes, I am out of 151. I may want to have friends over. I need more real liquor. At which point Kage said, Mom, we talked about this. I'm not going to take you to the liquor store to buy Bacardi 151 and Everclear. You can get wine. It's better for your health. And she's quiet. And she goes, I am an adult. I can buy what I want. And he goes, yes, but you can't drive. So I'm not going to drive you to the liquor store to get this. And she's quiet for a moment. And she's picking at the donuts. And then she looks up and goes, I bet I could walk to the liquor store.
She could have too. Know that Ubers exist.
Now, Pandez, we've known each other for quite some time. In fact, Pandez and I go so far back, we met before we met. There is a picture of the two of us at Pandez. What convention was that? Was that
FCN
MFM?
2008, I believe.
Is it FCN? Okay. There is a picture before we had that long. Oh wow.
It was. I want to say the first FCN, and there's pictures with you and pictures with me, and we were at the same con, and we did not speak one word to each other.
Nope. But there's a beautiful picture taken from an eagle's eye view that both of us are in it very nearby each other. And that picture was found after we had started performing with each other. Pandez being one of the heads of the three-headed monster. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Not a problem. It was, I wasn't expecting to. And then you were like, put him in the fourth position. I was like, I guess I'm joining the chat.
It sounds like a weird sex thing. Yeah, you put him in the 4th position. You know the one. Yeah. Let's see if it can fit in that hole.
Working. Put him in the 4th position.
Well, I cannot tell the audience how thrilled I was when First Squared years ago chose Pandez to be our guest of honor. My friend, somebody who I truly adore and love performing with, he's going to be the guest of honor. What wildness will he bring to this convention? Well, Des, what wildness did you bring to this convention?
So, in order to answer that, we have to time jump back to the previous year's closing ceremonies, or technically the whole year that year. So the previous year, kale became a thing for some reason. Drago was running New Line at Who's Line.
Hold on. We just went to $6,967. We need $2 for double sex number.
Oh my God. What?
We'll let Pandez finish the story when that total reads $6,969. It's a wonderful. There we go. Pandez, finish it.
Okay, so you had stepped out of the room for a minute and Drago was running New Line. And I believe it was Leafy Greens, ironically. They were at a health food store and it's like, can you show me where the carrots are? New Line, can you show me where the cabbages are? New Line, can you show me where the kale is? And for some reason, kale got a laughter. A laughter? Kale got a laugh.
Close enough.
Close
and
enough.
It came up like 2 or 3 more times in that game. And don't know why, but it was getting a laugh. And they're like, okay, we're going to do another game, new people. You're in a back alley somewhere. Is that kale? Are we behind the alley of the health food store? So it just kept coming up throughout Who's Line the rest of the night. Then it kept coming up throughout the event. I want to say there was... Did somebody bring in a kale statue or of some sort at closing?
The following kale-themed items have been given to me over the years. A kale Moses full in basket and a fake river. A kale statue, a kale vest, a kale hat. And by the way, for those of you wondering why we're telling this story, for those of you who've been around forever, yeah, we know. There were a lot of people who yesterday when Boozy had me do a kale thing and the reactions, a lot of people have not been around. So we are telling this story once and then I'm not going to tell it again for like 3 years because, oh my God. So yeah, kale was a thing. It was a thing. Kale caused the First Squared closing ceremonies riot. Let's just put it that way.
They were trying to announce the theme for the following year, which was a really great theme, by the way. I've loved that theme so much.
Thank you.
But the entire crowd was chanting, all hail kale, or kale to the chief, kale to the chief. It just was... you guys had an emergency board meeting on stage.
Stand out in my mind was as the audience died down from one of the kale to the chief said, there was a small voice coming from the back of the room that just goes, I'm going to kale you. And I thought it was the funniest thing ever.
So kale was just everywhere, right? And then after all that, and they announced the theme, and they'd already announced like another guest who was going to be there. Pepper. They'd announced Pepper was going to be there. And then Alkali's like, hey, Des, come join me up here for a second. You've done so much to help out this year. I just want to, specifically notice you. Well, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. And as I walk up, you're like, we want to really, really thank you for everything you've done. Really thank you. Would you like to be guest of honor at our convention next year? And I was like, I'm going to make you rue this day. So I was like, yes, sure, of course I will be your guest. So I had a year to plan what I was going to do. And I decided to have several hundred buttons made up with just a symbol of kale. I started a Twitter account called @thekalearati. And I created this organization called the Kalearati, like the Illuminati, but kale. And we started tweeting at the convention. We tweeted during the convention. When I got there, I had all these buttons made up that Quack Quack Honk made. And nobody knew about these buttons but me and Quack. And so I surreptitiously went up to certain people. And, when they came up, either if they came up to me or if I was just like, this person looks trustworthy, I was like, hey, how would you like in on a little something? And they were like, what? I'm like, I showed, and I had my vest, and I opened it up, and I had like buttons just all along the inside of my vest. I'm like, would you like to be part of the Kalerati? And they're like, what's that? And I'm like, first of all, you may not speak of the Kalerati. But if you would like to induct someone to the Kalerati, bring them to me, and I will induct them. But remember, you must wear your badge and never tell anyone what it is. At all. So these buttons started showing up all over the event. Nobody knew where they were coming from. They weren't on sale in the Artist Alley. They weren't in the dealer's den. It culminated for me personally Saturday night, the staff dinner. The hotel wheeled in some pizzas for the staff to enjoy as they were relaxing late in the evening. And I'm sitting there, and I had given the hotel liaison one of the kale pins, and I said, just wear it. It'll drive Dan crazy. Just don't say where you got it or how you came by it. And as they're walking out of the room, Dragor taps Alkali on the shoulder and goes, the hotel had one of the kale pins. And Alkali just lost. He's like, where the are these pins coming from? What is going on? He had no clue.
None. I promise you none. I was so confused and impressed and enraged. And you mother.
So closing ceremonies comes around. And I had been in costume a fair bit of the event, but I was dressed in my vest again, all nice and like, oh, well, it's closing ceremonies, yes. And he calls me, I just really want to thank you for being our guest. I'm like, oh, not a problem, we had all this weird stuff happen, it was a really great theme. All this kale stuff happened, and I just turned and I faced the crowd, and I had told them all this ahead of time. Nobody who was not inducted in the Kalerati knew. Nobody on staff, most people on staff didn't know. And I just raised like 3-finger salute like I was part of the Hunger Games, and we're just like, all hail Kale. All hail Kale. And everyone who had a pin stood up, raised their fingers, and went, all hail Kale. All hail Kale. The look on his face is fantastic. He's like, what is going on? He looks back at me. I open up my vest, show him the row of remaining pins, and go, gotcha, bitch!
Now, I have a question. How long has the kale joke been running now?
Since whatever year that was.
Since year 2.
14?
That was 2014?
Yeah.
2014 or 15.
So what you're telling me is that for 7 years, the kale joke has been just a regular thing.
Oh, it's
more regular than I would like it.
Welcome to the furry fandom, folks. Welcome. We will beat that dead horse harder than a sadist jockey. Oh my God.
You can't see him, but the con chair is sitting next to me right now just doing... It looks like
literally thought about getting more pins and bringing them to the next first squared, but when is that going to be?
We're hoping. We've got so many things crossed. Our current charity total is $70.69. Thank you to everyone out there for your donations.
You said it wrong.
So everything you've got 2 of is crossed? Is that what you're saying?
Say nice. You said it wrong.
$70.69. Nice.
Somebody throw in 68 cents. Then it'll be 70.69.68.
No donating cents. It costs more in the fees than it does. Do not do that.
I got to tell you, somebody had brought it up earlier. It was the first time you and Alkali performed alone on stage. It was MFF 2017. I comedy better when I had a few.
Was that our first solo performance?
That was our first solo as a duo performance.
Holy
Every other
shit.
performance we'd had were group performances. And we're on there, and you threw your hat out into the crowd, and I was still relatively new. Like, I think I'd only done 3 or 4 FurCons at that point. And I'm watching things go through the crowd. I'm watching this stuff go through the crowd. And I noticed that there are people who are putting stuff in and taking stuff out. And I leaned in and I went, are you all making change out of the top hat? Like, just like, what are you out there doing? Are you like, I only got $1, but I really just want to give $0.25. So come on, cheapskates, put it all in, pass it up. That was also the first panel I had where programming had fucked it up and had not marked it 18+. And we got on stage, we got our liquor out, and the security guy goes, by the way, just to let you know, this is not an 18+ panel. And you and I looked at each other and said, well, that's not gonna fucking work.
Yep. Let's go in the Wayback Machine, Boozy. I've got one for you. We're not going to name the con, but we performed at a convention on the East Coast, where a gentleman in the front row of the audience was rapidly becoming unconscious, tried to share his drink with us, and then we became magicians. Do you remember this story?
Yes, I do.
Feel free, my friend.
I remember this story because prior to you showing up for it, he had gotten on stage, taken the microphone, and was doing his own show as people were coming in and sitting down. And I remember looking back at the sound guy making the cut his mic motion, and they're not doing it, and there's no security. So I walk out, and then the sound guy cuts the mic, and I looked at the sound guy, and I said, well, it doesn't do any fucking good now. He's on a roll. So we finally get him off stage. He gets out of the front row. He gets progressively drunker throughout it. And I just remember that my favorite part of it was he had said, oh, I want to give you all a drink. And you and I both looked at him and told the biggest lie that we will ever tell. We don't take drinks from the audience in unmarked bottles. We do it all the fucking time. Watch a panel. We have no self-preservation instinct. You hand me an unmarked bottle, you can tell me it's whiskey. It could be acid. I don't fucking know. Like, I'm still going to drink it. Anyways, he goes, oh, don't worry, I have some, and darted out of the ballroom, at which point I started yelling, lock the doors, and everybody laughed, and I yelled, I'm not fucking joking. Please, someone lock the doors. Then he came back in with 2 bottles of his home-brewed beer and gave it to us. And we both looked at it, and just the moment he looked away, the bottles disappeared. I don't even know where mine went. It just was no longer on the table. It was like, how'd you like it? I'm like, it was good. It was great. Thank you. Then he pissed himself and passed out, and that's when they finally removed him.
Yeah, that's what it took. I truly appreciate that there's something magical about the furry fandom and our alcohol problem. Just because I'll never forget being at, it was a fursuit pre-setup for the fursuit parade. So a lot of people kind of in one room, and the gentleman standing next to me in full fursuit hands me this tall glass with a fursuit straw sticking out and said, you have to try some of this. And I said, what is it? So we looked to his right to another fursuiter and said, Alkali wants to know what this is. That fursuiter said, 1 second. Asked the person to his right what the drink. And I watched this round robin of where this drink had, the herpes of the furry fandom had gone all the way around the room. And the final sip was mine. It was delicious.
I just love that because the sad thing is before they even got back to him with the answer, he drank it.
Absolutely. I'm not going to wait.
I've watched this go down. You put something in front of you, like, try this. Okay.
Done.
Actually, it's my answer. Like, how do you know what they're giving to you? I'm like, I don't. I just hate my life. One day I'll luck out and they'll poison me.
So, unfortunately, and this is why I don't do that anymore, that pseudo happened. I have a problem. Oh my God. We were doing a charity panel, and one of the aspects of this charity panel is trick drinks, but you always know you're getting the trick drink. It happens. Well, they told me that the trick drink was going to be a shot with a little bit of cayenne in it. Just a little bit is going to be a spicy shot. Now, I've done cayenne ciders, cayenne apple ciders, and I actually like those. So I figured, okay, a cayenne vodka.
Oh!
Tech has just put a message from one of our favorite First Squared people, Furry Bob. I am truly sad that I don't get to see you this year. We just had a $1,069 donation from Furry Bob. Thank you so much, my friend.
Oh, my God.
You have been supporting this charity and this convention for quite some time now.
Oh, my God.
That's it. Mind-blowing. That's amazing.
Well, back to this thing.
If I had a drink, I would join you.
I love you, buddy. You're amazing. Well, the moral of the story is I burnt my larynx and couldn't do the charity show. So that was the punchline to that story. But I think I'm going to let that donation take the stage on this one. One of you needs to talk right now. Right now.
So there we were, Alkali's dick in hand before the charity show.
And the talking can stop. It's just all of a sudden. Oh, that was fast. Amazing. Can't believe it. What are the odds?
What? It was just your dessert. You had a spotted dick.
Yes, but his doctor gave him a pill for that. He's doing much better.
Oh, boy.
Oh, Lord.
Thanks,
what I love is when a con's like, you can't drink on stage because they're under 18. And I'm like, okay, you have a coffee maker backstage, don't you? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, cool. And then I pour half a cup of coffee and produce a flask and fill it the rest of the way up. Everybody else is walking on stage. They're like, we have to be sober for this one. I'm like, you have to be sober for this one. I know how to hide my crippling alcoholism.
It's weird. All my Gatorade smells like tequila at conventions.
Oh, you've done that one too?
Oh, absolutely.
That was a college thing for us to get orange Gatorade, drink half of it, and fill it the rest of the way up with Dark Eyes vodka.
Could be worse. You could do what I did on my 40th at MFF. I made Four Loko smell like Malibu rum.
Oh, my God. What, who thought of Four Loko? Who thought it was a good idea to say, you know what, this destructive drunk needs more energy?
Sadists.
I just don't understand that logic. Like, you know what? We're going to give this guy 151 and then we're going to give him meth.
You know, that's the thing. It's been a while. Screw it. I choose to tell this one. Pandez does not need meth when he drinks. In fact, Pandez is the master of getting back to his room when he is drunk. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to preface this with a reminder. Last night, we all watched a movie together. Tonight, we will be doing something similar. So if you would like to join us, please join us tonight at 10:30 p.m. Central Standard Time at speakeasy.firstsquare.com, where we'll be watching another movie and sitting along on the chat. If you would like to join us, please feel free. And this is reminiscent of DST3K, or Dragon Science Theater 3000, or Furry Science, whatever we called it that week, because Pandez is one of the people that started that panel with me. We thought what a fun idea would be. Go ahead.
It was you, me, and Roxas. We were the three.
That is correct, yeah. Well, we started this panel thinking what a fun idea it would be to sit and do a Mystery Science Theater 3000. We wanted to see what would happen if we could sit there and spoof the movie. So we picked the movie. Not knowing what we were doing, we picked the worst movie that we could think of. Pandaz, what was the name of that movie?
Battlefield Earth.
Yep. Pandaz, how long is Battlefield Earth?
I want to say like 2.5, maybe 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Pandaz, why do you have a general idea of how long Battlefield Earth is?
Because I was told, hey, to get some ideas for where we could be comedic, maybe we should watch the movie beforehand. So I watched it 3 times before the event in order to be told when we got there, hey, so how was the movie? Because I didn't watch it, by both you and Roxas. So I got to sit down and watch it for the 4th time in 7 days.
I just love that image of Pandez spending 12 hours of his life watching Battlefield Earth. That just, for some reason, like I imagine you watched 3 of them back to back. Like you just sat down one night and watched it 3 times in a row.
That is not, unless I had the day off, that was physically impossible because I was like, work, come home, have food, watch the movie, go to bed. Next day, work, come home, have food, watch the movie, go to bed. This is, of course, during con week, where I am on the board of directors, and we're like, all the last minute stuff that's happening for con 3 days before con.
Well, Pandez did watch the movie, and it helped. You could tell Pandez was definitely the most well-prepared out of all of us. Not that any of us needed to be prepared at all. Because from the moment the movie started, we realized that we were not needed. The panelists were merely there. We were props because the audience behind us had it covered. The audience was yelling things at the screen, but they were doing it in a very respectable way. They weren't stepping on each other's lines. Everyone had fun. People got their moment. It was genuinely a good time. And luckily, because Roxas, myself, Pandez, we'd been running panels long enough that we thankfully recognized that the crowd was having a good time. We weren't needed. Now that opens up a whole new realm of possibilities, and immediately the thought was, how can we help the charity? So we turned it into a drinking game. Immediately it was, anyone who wants to make a drinking rule, money, and we're going to turn that into a drinking rule. On the table was a bottle of Malibu rum, a bottle of ice, whatever that mint stuff, and Rumpelmans, a Rumpelmans type. Thank you. Well,
and vanilla vodka.
Oh, the vanilla vodka. Thank you. Well, Pandez, what did you start by drinking?
I started drinking Malibu, which, it's a bit of a lighter.
What did you end drinking?
After polishing off the entire bottle of Malibu by myself,
there it is.
I moved over to the vanilla vodka because when I ran out, I leaned over to my good friend Roxas and was like, "Rox, I'm out of I'm out of rum. Can I have some of your vodka?" And Roxas, being the responsible individual that I know him to be, of course said, "Sure, have that. Here you go." And I proceeded to polish off probably a third of that bottle as well.
Sounds about right.
This was a mistake.
Hence the name, MST3K, mistake. Well, the panel has ended. I turn around and give the spiel, and I notice that my good friend Pandez has his head down on the table and is not moving a lot. So, being the responsible convention runners we were, we cleared the room with the assistance of Dorsai. We need to get... Were you chairman at the time?
No, that was year 3. It was Tora's last term as chair. Roxas was due to be chair the following year. I was... I forget what I was. I think I was... I don't even know what I was that year.
You were something. So we have a problem now. We have a panel that the convention chairman was on, that I think finance was on. We have a problem. We need to get Pandez back to his room. So all of us begin to help him. And as we are lifting Pandez from his chair, he becomes a Super Saiyan and throws out his arms, knocking people away from him, goes, wait a minute. Chair, you have helped me so much throughout this panel. You supported me. I farted in you a few times. You didn't say anything. You squeaked. Squeaks are fine. But Chair, I appreciate and I love you, Chair. We're like, oh, good. We need to get him to his room now. We approach Pandez, and this time with only a look. No, Wait a minute. Table, you kept the booze at a level that no one else could have. You were right there. I reached, and there was booze, and I love you. Oh, table. So now we're moving him towards the door. His hands shoot out, his legs too. I don't even understand that. He stops himself in the doorway. Boom. Door, you kept the riff-raff out. You're locked in. You're a lock. I'm the key. I love you. All right, we need to go now. We have him in the hallway, and Pandez is the most kind-hearted, beautiful person. So what does he do when he sees people? He wants to thank them for being at the convention that he is part of. And every person and inanimate object that we passed in the hallway, he thanked for being at this con. Most of them were not part of this convention, but were very polite. One of them was a potted plant. We get this son of a friend to the elevator, get him onto the moving box. When he reaches out and hits 12, he's not on 12. We look at him and he goes, I haven't seen anyone get off on 12, and I think it was feeling neglected. Shit! All right, we get him up to his floor, stopping him from hitting any more buttons, which he definitely tried to do. Get him off of the elevator when he goes, movement can be vertical. Shit, all right, now we get him down the hallway. His room is visible. I can see it right there. And Super Saiyan happens once again. He throws out his arms, knocking us away from him, and reaches out to put his hand on the fire alarm. Fire alarm? Oh, thank you, Tech. You're amazing. Fire alarm? All of us are slowly approaching him. Fire alarm? You get a bad rap. And as his fingers curl around it, he says, but even I'm not that drunk, and goes into his room. We don't hear from the rest of the night. Best drunk. Cheers, buddy.
Oh my god.
Cheers.
See, I don't have a fun Pandez story other than making him stay up till 3 in the morning to meet me at the IFC hotel so I could sleep in his room.
That was the first year you came out to IFC, which we absolutely appreciated and loved you having there. And
I just yeah.
I was like, hey, if you want to come on out, you can stay in the chairman's room. It's fine. There's plenty of room in here. And he took me up on it. So I'm like, okay, I could leave him a key at the desk, but that's not what a chairman would do. So I'm going to stay up, and I'm going to greet him at the door when he gets there. So he was texting occasionally. I just crossed into this state. I didn't realize that roads didn't exist in this state. I will find my way to your state. He finally gets there, and I'm like, oh, yes, come on in. And I collapsed on the bed and then woke up like 3 hours later to start the day in programming.
What I loved about that was I walked in, you gave me a hug, you gave me a key, you said, this is the room number, I'm going to bed. If my CPAP machine wakes you up, deal with it. Which I have to say, that was dangerous because you're like, if my CPAP machine wakes you up, deal with it. And in the back of my head, I'm like, well, I already know you have trouble breathing, and there's a lot of pillows on that bed. Like, where's Pandez? He was real tired. He's still napping.
I only have one question for you, Boozy. At this point, who lawyers the lawyer? I'm just wondering, now that you've mentioned you were considering murder. Just throw it
I
out
wasn't
there.
considering murder. I hadn't formed a plan. I'm just saying that let me tell you my background. When I told my wife about sleep apnea, and I'm like, I heard about it, and people stop breathing in their sleep, and that's really serious. And QM said, you do that too sometimes. I said, do I? And she said, yeah. And then I take the pillow off your face because I remember I'm not your life insurance beneficiary, and we go on with our day. So,
oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, This has been iComedy Better When I've Had a Few. I would like to thank all of our hosts. He left a little early. Thank you very much to Uncle Kage, to the Boozy Barrister, and to Lord Pandez. We have raised a grand total of $72.68 for charity at this point of the convention. Don't forget, this is for Hawes, the charity that has been with us since year one. They're amazing people with a worthy cause. If you weren't here for opening ceremonies, I just want to remind you they have been bequeathed a piece of land that they are using as an education center. This is going to be a place that helps people learn how to handle the animals that get adopted, and it's going to hopefully even increase their adoption rating. Guys, this is a wonderful opportunity to help those who can't help themselves. And as always, we are furries. If you can give, give. And if you can't, don't worry about it. The furry fandom is going to help those animals one way or another. Enjoy the show. My name is Alkali. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of the convention, and good night.
Good night, everyone.
All right. This is the part where I assume we're not live.